Adam Cole's ship floated silently above the pale gray surface of the abandoned moon. The small cargo craft had carried supplies between distant colonies for years, but Adam had never seen a place as empty and quiet as this one. He glanced at the navigation panel, noting that his fuel reserves were low. The refuel station ahead seemed deserted. Most of the time, these small outposts were quiet, but at least a friendly voice would usually greet him. Not here. He set the ship down gently, the landing gear touching the dusty surface with a soft hiss. The cabin was still for a moment. Then the engines powered down, leaving Adam alone with the faint hum of life support. He pulled his jacket tighter, feeling a slight chill in the thin air of the moon's orbit. As he checked the supplies, he thought about how quiet this place felt. It was not the emptiness of space, which could feel calm, but a more lonely kind of silence, the kind that made a person feel like they were being watched. Adam stepped outside the ship and stretched. The ground crunched under his boots. The moon's surface was cracked and dry, with jagged rocks scattered like broken teeth across a desert of gray. He scanned the horizon. Nothing. Just empty shelters, rusted panels, and a long-forgotten landing strip. Then, he saw movement. Two small shapes darted behind a broken wall near one of the ruined shelters. Adam froze. The shapes were small, but their movements were quick and careful, like they didn't want to be seen. He squinted. Two children. Their skin was pale with a hint of green, and their eyes were larger than human children's eyes, wide and shining in the dim sunlight. Their hair was a strange, silvery blue, falling in messy tangles around their thin faces. They looked hungry. Adam took a step forward, keeping his hands visible. "Hey," he said softly. "It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." The children froze, staring at him with wide, fearful eyes. The older one, a girl, shook her head slowly. The younger one, a boy, pressed himself against the ground, almost hiding behind the wall. They didn't speak. Adam knew from experience that approaching frightened beings required patience. He slowly opened his pack and pulled out a small packet of dried fruit. "I've got some food," he said gently. "If you're hungry, it's okay. I won't take it back." The girl's eyes flicked to the packet. Her mouth opened slightly, but she did not move. The boy peeked from behind the wall, trembling. Adam took a careful step forward, kneeling so he was at their level. "I won't hurt you," he said again. "I promise." Finally, the girl took a tiny step. She reached out, hesitated, then grabbed a piece of the fruit. Her hand shook. The boy watched her, still hiding. Adam offered the other piece to him. After a long pause, the boy crept forward and took it. They ate slowly, silently, their small bodies shivering. Adam watched them, noting the way their thin arms held the food as if it might disappear if they let go. He felt a tug in his chest. These children had been through something terrible. "Are you alone?" he asked softly. The girl's lips trembled. She shook her head. "Mom," she whispered, her voice breaking. Adam frowned. "Where is your mom?" She's gone," the girl said, tears forming in her large eyes. "The hunters. She fought them. She didn't come back." Adam swallowed. He had flown across dangerous sectors, delivered cargo to harsh worlds, but he had never met a child who had lost everything. He wanted to ask more, but he knew it might scare them. Instead, he reached into his pack and pulled out a small blanket. "Here," he said, holding it out. "You can sit inside my ship. It's warmer there." The girl looked at him, then at the boy. They glanced at each other, unsure. But hunger and fear finally outweighed hesitation. They followed him cautiously. Once inside the ship, Adam helped them settle on a small bench. He gave them water from a clean pack and more food. The boy's hands were shaking as he held the food, but he ate quickly. Adam watched them quietly. Their eyes kept darting toward the windows, toward the shadows outside. "It's okay," he said softly. "No one's coming here right now. You're safe with me." The Monda gleated. "Create minting. Crom including. Create minting. Crom including. Crom including rain. Create mint." The girl, after a long pause, spoke. We were hiding," she said. "Hunters. They want us. They said our mom." Her voice broke, and she buried her face in her hands. Adam didn't push her to speak. He let the silence fill the cabin, letting them feel safe. After a few minutes, he offered more food. "You have to keep your strength up," he said. "I can't leave you here. You're coming with me until we find your mom, or at least find a safe place." The boy looked up, confused. You don't even know us," he said quietly. Adam smiled gently. "I don't. But you're children, and you're hungry. That's enough reason." He could see the relief in their eyes, even mixed with fear. Slowly, the girl relaxed, leaning against the blanket. The boy sat next to her, finally feeling safe enough to rest. Adam settled into his own seat, watching them eat. As the hours passed, he asked small questions, keeping the conversation light. "What's your favorite food?" he asked. "Do you like fruits? Or maybe something sweet?" The girl, whose name he learned was Lyra, said quietly that she liked sweet fruits, though she had not tasted them in a long time. The boy, named Tovan, nodded when Adam offered him the fruit. They began to talk softly, their trust growing slowly. Adam began to think about the mother. If the children's story was true, she had fought something dangerous and had not returned. That meant she might still be alive somewhere. He decided that finding her would be important. But first, he had to make sure Lyra and Tovan survived. He turned the ship on again and checked the fuel. There was enough to reach a nearby colony, a small world known for helping travelers. He plotted the course, knowing that the children might be at risk if he stayed in one place too long. The moment the engines hummed to life, the children pressed close to him, almost as if they were holding on to hope itself. During the flight, Adam kept glancing at them. They were fragile, yet there was something about their eyes that told him they had seen more than any child should see. They had survived something terrible, and now they were trusting him. That trust was a responsibility he could not take lightly. Hours passed quietly. The children began to relax, leaning against each other, their bodies small against the ship's seat. Adam allowed himself a moment to think about the journey ahead. Whoever had sent the hunters after them would not give up easily. Whoever had wanted to hurt their mother might still be searching for them. He had to be careful. By the time the moon behind them was just a gray disk in the distance, Adam had made a decision. He would take these children to safety. He would protect them. And he would find their mother, if he could. Whatever danger lay ahead, he would not leave them alone. As he piloted the ship through the quiet darkness of space, he could feel the weight of the responsibility settling on his shoulders. But there was something else, too. A strange warmth. A quiet hope. He had rescued them, yes. But in doing so, he had become part of a story bigger than himself. A story that would change his life in ways he could not yet imagine. For now, all that mattered was that Lyra and Tovan were fed, warm, and safe. And for the first time, in many months, they allowed themselves to believe that not every human would harm them. Adam leaned back in his seat, watching the stars stretch into lines as the ship sped forward. He did not know what lay ahead. But he knew one thing. These children had given him a purpose, and he would not fail them. The ship moved steadily through the darkness of space, leaving the gray moon far behind. Adam Cole sat in the pilot's seat, his hands lightly gripping the controls, while Lyra and Tovan leaned against each other on the bench. They were still quiet, watching the stars slide past the windows. Their small faces looked tired, but calmer than before. Adam could tell they were beginning to feel safe, at least for the moment. He glanced at them. "You two are doing good," he said softly. "Eating, drinking, resting. That's important." Lyra looked up, her wide eyes meeting his. Do you always help strangers?" she asked quietly. Adam smiled faintly. "Not always," he said. "But sometimes. Sometimes people need help. And you can't just walk away." Tovin fidgeted with his hands, still shy. "Why us?" he asked. Adam hesitated. He didn't want to give them a simple answer that didn't explain the risk they were in. "I don't know," he said finally. "Maybe it was just the right thing to do." The children were silent for a while after that, each lost in thought. The silence was comfortable, though, like the calm after a storm. Adam used the time to check the ship's systems and review the fuel levels. They could reach a small frontier station in the next sector, a place where travelers could rest and trade safely. It was not a major hub, but it would be enough to gather supplies and information. As the ship approached the station, Adam slowed down, scanning the perimeter. The station was larger than he expected. It hovered above a small asteroid, with docking platforms stretching out like fingers. Ships of all shapes and sizes were tied to the platforms, and lights flickered along the surface, casting shadows across the metal hull. Adam guided the ship carefully, bringing it in for a smooth landing. The children stayed close to him, their eyes wide as they watched the bustling station. "Don't worry," Adam said, keeping his voice low. "We'll be safe here. I hope." As they stepped out of the ship, the air was warmer and cleaner than the vacuum of space. The station smelled faintly of machinery and food, a mix that was oddly comforting. Adam held the children's hands as they walked through the corridors, keeping them close. It didn't take long for him to notice the way people were looking at the children. Some stopped their work and whispered to each other. A few stared openly, their eyes filled with curiosity and something else Adam couldn't place. Fear, maybe, or respect. Lyra noticed it too. Why are they looking at us?" she asked quietly, tugging at Adam's hand. Adam shook his head. "I don't know," he said. "Maybe because you're different. But don't worry. They won't hurt us. Not here." Still, Adam felt uneasy. Something about the attention didn't feel normal. He decided to ask around, quietly, without drawing more attention. At a small supply shop, he spoke with an older man who had been working in the station for years. "These kids," Adam asked, lowering his voice. "Do you know anything about them? Their mother, maybe?" The man's face went pale, and his hands trembled slightly as he reached for a piece of equipment. "Those markings," he whispered. "Where did you find them?" Adam hesitated. "On a moon," he said. "They were alone. Their mother, she disappeared." The man's eyes widened. "You don't understand," he said. "Their mother, she's not just any fighter. She's the Sovereign Blade. People feared her across half the sectors. If she's gone, then these children are targets. Dangerous targets." Adam felt a chill. "Targets? Why?" "Because anyone who can claim her children can claim power," the man said. "The Sovereign Blade, she ended wars by herself. People want her gone. But the children," he shook his head. "It's dangerous just being near them." Adam swallowed. He had known they were special, but not this special. And now the quiet whispers of the station made sense. He had felt the weight of attention the moment he walked in. These children were not ordinary. They were the offspring of someone legendary. He thanked the man quietly and walked back to Lyra and Tovin, who were watching the corridor with worried eyes. "We need to be careful," he said. "Some people, they want to find you. Not for friendship, not for kindness, for power. The children looked at him in shock. Power? Lyra whispered. Why? We're just us. Adam shook his head. I know you are. But some people see you differently. They see your mother's strength. They want it. And they think you might have some of it too. Tovin's small hands clenched into fists. Will they hurt us? Adam crouched down to their level. If they try, I won't let them, he said firmly. I promise. The rest of the day passed in cautious movements. Adam found a quiet room for them to rest while he went to gather supplies. The whispers followed them, even here. Some station workers peered through the door, curious and fearful. Adam didn't answer their questions. He packed food, water, blankets, and a few defensive tools, enough to protect the children for the next leg of the journey. As night fell on the station, Adam returned to the room. Lyra and Tovin were asleep, curled against each other. He sat in a chair nearby, watching them breathe softly. Their trust had grown, but he knew it could vanish in an instant if anyone tried to take them. A soft knock at the door made him tense. He stood quickly, keeping his hand near the small blaster at his belt. Who is it? He called. The door slid open slightly, revealing a woman in a long cloak. Her face was partially hidden, but her eyes were sharp and intelligent. I mean no harm, she said quietly. I know about the children. Their mother, she is alive, but you need to leave, now. Adam narrowed his eyes. How do you know about them? The woman sighed. Because I follow the movements of those who seek the sovereign blade. You've drawn attention. They will come for the children soon, if you stay. Adam hesitated. And you? Why are you here? I am a friend, she said. I help people who mean no harm. But you cannot stay. Not here. Adam looked back at the sleeping children. I won't abandon them, he said firmly. The woman nodded. Then you must be careful. Go to the outer sectors. Keep moving. And do not trust anyone. They will try to trick you. Adam thanked her and closed the door. He checked on Lyra and Tovin once more. They were safe. For now. But he knew the journey ahead would not be simple. Whoever wanted the children would not stop easily. The next morning, Adam prepared the ship for departure. He loaded supplies, checked the engines, and secured the children. They moved quietly through the corridors, avoiding the eyes of curious station workers. Once inside the ship, Adam set a course for the outer sectors, a region less patrolled, less known, where he could hide the children while figuring out the next step. During the flight, Adam tried to teach the children a few simple things about space travel. He explained how to read the instruments, how to check fuel, and how to stay calm during turbulence. They listened carefully, absorbing every word. Adam could see that they were intelligent and resilient. Even in their fear, they learned quickly. As they traveled, Adam began to understand something about them. Despite their small size and fragile appearance, there was a quiet strength in Lyra and Tovin. They had survived alone for weeks, possibly months, on a desolate moon. They had eaten almost nothing, and yet their spirits had not completely broken. That was a kind of courage Adam had not expected from such small beings. At one point, Adam asked, "Do you remember anything else about your mom?" Lyra nodded slowly. She said, "Humans are rare, but kind. That's why she trusted us to stay alive, if a human found us." Adam smiled faintly. "Well, she was right about me, at least." The boy looked up. "She will come back, right?" Adam hesitated. "I hope so," he said. "I'll help you find her if I can. But right now, we need to stay safe and keep moving." As the stars passed by outside the windows, Adam realized that their journey was about to change. He was no longer just a cargo pilot helping stranded children. He had become a guardian, someone who must protect two beings who carried a power he barely understood. And somewhere in the galaxy, their mother waited, a force unlike any other, whose shadow already stretched far and wide. The quiet hum of the ship filled the cabin. Lyra and Tovan rested against each other, trusting Adam to guide them through the darkness. And Adam, for the first time in many years, felt the weight of purpose settle over him. The galaxy was larger and more dangerous than he had imagined. But for these two children, he would face it all. Adam Cole steered the ship carefully through the dark stretches of space. The stars glimmered like tiny fires scattered across a black ocean. Lyra and Tovan sat quietly on the bench behind him, their small hands clutching the blanket Adam had given them. They were tired, but the tension in their bodies told him they had not truly relaxed. The warnings from the cloaked woman at the station haunted him. Hunters were tracking them, and he knew it was only a matter of time before they caught up. Adam checked the ship's sensors again, scanning for anything unusual. So far, sensor, instarred, there was nothing, no approaching ships, no signs of danger, but he knew the hunters would not be visible until they were very close. He kept the ship in a tight formation, avoiding well-traveled trade lanes, using asteroid fields and abandoned satellites to hide their path. "Will they find us?" Lyra asked, her small voice trembling. Adam shook his head. "I don't know. But we'll do everything we can to stay ahead of them." Tovan pressed his face against the window, staring at the stars. "I don't want to be caught," he whispered. "You won't be," Adam said firmly. "I promise. But we have to be smart. Okay? No rushing. No mistakes." The children nodded, trying to trust his words. Adam had no weapons strong enough to face a full fleet. But he had something hunters didn't expect. His mind. He had survived dangerous sectors before, relying on clever thinking rather than firepower. That skill would have to keep them alive now. Hours passed in tense silence. Adam kept adjusting the ship's path, changing speed and direction often, making sure no signal could be traced. He checked the food supplies, ensuring there was enough for a week if necessary. Lyra and Tovan were quiet most of the time, occasionally asking questions about the stars or the planets they passed. Adam answered as best as he could, keeping his voice calm to reassure them. Suddenly, the sensors beeped, a sharp warning that made Adam's stomach tighten. A ship was approaching fast, closing in on them from the rear. He scanned the signature. It was small, sleek, and deadly, the kind of craft hunters used for tracking high-value targets. Adam's mind raced. He had no intention of letting them catch the children, not while he was alive. He pushed the throttle forward, weaving through a nearby cluster of asteroids. The hunters followed, their movements precise, anticipating his every turn. Lyra grabbed his shoulder. "I know," he said, keeping his hands steady on the controls. "Just stay calm and hold on." The hunter's ship fired a warning shot, a beam of energy that streaked past Adam's ship, scorching the hull. Sparks flew, and the ship shuddered. Adam cursed under his breath, realizing that if they were hit again, the children could be hurt. He took a sharp turn, diving into a dense asteroid field, weaving between jagged rocks. The hunter's ship followed, but it was larger and less maneuverable. Adam used this to his advantage, anticipating each of their moves. A massive asteroid loomed ahead. He veered to the left at the last second, letting the hunter crash into the rock. A bright flash of light lit up the cockpit as the pursuing ship bounced off the surface, damaged, but still moving. "We have to get further," Adam muttered. "They won't give up that easily." The children held on tightly as Adam navigated the maze of floating rocks, using every trick he had learned over years of piloting cargo ships. He flew low, skimming near the surfaces of small moons and derelict satellites, hiding their trail. Lyra's eyes were wide with fear, but she trusted him. Toven's grip on the blanket was tight, but he didn't cry. After nearly an hour, Adam found a small cave in an asteroid large enough to hide the ship. He guided it inside, shutting the entrance behind them. The darkness of the cave was thick, but it was safe for now. He turned off the engines, letting silence fill the cockpit. Adam exhaled slowly. "We're safe for a little while," he said. "But we can't stay here long. We need to keep moving." Lyra hugged herself. "Are they going to come back?" Adam shook his head. "They might. That's why we have to be ready. You both need to stay calm and follow my lead, no matter what happens." The children nodded, trusting him more with each word. Adam took a moment to study them. Despite their fear, there was determination in their eyes. They had survived so much already. He realized that their courage, even in their small forms, was remarkable. Adam then checked the ship for damage. A few scratches on the hull. Nothing that could stop them. But he had to be careful. Every maneuver consumed fuel, and he could not afford a long chase. He set the course for a remote sector far from known trade lanes, a place where hunters would be slow to find them. During the flight, Adam tried to keep the children's minds off the danger. He asked them questions about their favorite memories, small things that brought smiles. Lyra talked about the time her mother had taught her to climb a small hill on their home planet. Toven remembered chasing small animals in a forest near their village. Adam listened, letting their stories fill the ship with warmth. For a little while, the fear was pushed aside, but Adam knew it would not last. The hunters were persistent, trained, and ruthless. They would not stop until they found the children. He could feel it in the weight of the galaxy around them, the kind of danger that did not announce itself until it struck. Later, as the ship passed a cluster of dark gas clouds, the sensors beeped again. Another ship was approaching. This one faster and more precise than the last. Adam's jaw tightened. The hunters were coordinating, using multiple ships now to trap them. He knew he had to act fast. "Hold on," he said to the children. "We're going to do something tricky." He guided the ship into the heart of the gas clouds, weaving through the thick mists. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. The sensors were less effective in the cloud, making the hunters' tracking more difficult. Adam relied on instinct, feeling the ship's movement, listening to the engines. It was risky, but it was their only chance. A sharp beam hit the side of the ship, sending a jolt through the cabin. Lyra cried out, clutching Toven. Adam swore under his breath. "It's okay," he said. "I've got this." Using the cloud's density, Adam executed a series of sudden maneuvers, diving and rising, twisting in unexpected ways. The hunters were thrown off balance, unable to follow precisely. Sparks flew as another beam hit. But Adam managed to escape the cloud into open space. The hunters slowed, unable to pursue safely. Adam exhaled, feeling the tension drain from his body. He checked on the children. Lyra's face was pale, but she was breathing steadily. Toven leaned against her, wide-eyed but unharmed. Adam smiled faintly. "We did it," he said. "We're still here." The children's relief was visible. Lyra hugged Toven tightly, both of them holding onto the blanket Adam had given them. For the first time since he had found them, Adam allowed himself a small moment of pride. They had survived the first real attack, and it had been his skill and their trust that had kept them safe. Adam knew this was only the beginning. The hunters would not give up. He had to find a better place for them to hide. A place where the children could rest and learn to trust someone new. Someone who could help them. He plotted a course for a remote mining colony on the edge of the sector. It was small, nearly forgotten, but it had a network of safe houses and sympathetic people. It was the best chance they had. During the quiet flight, Adam reflected on what had happened. He had found these children, starving and alone, and now he was responsible for keeping them alive against hunters who wanted them for power. It was more than he had bargained for, but he did not regret it. He had chosen to help them, and he would continue to do so. Lyra spoke quietly after a long pause. "Do you think my mom will come for us?" Adam looked at her. "I don't know," he said honestly. "But I promise you this. We will survive until she does. And if she is out there, we will find her." Tovin nodded, his small hands gripping the blanket tightly. "We'll stay with you," he said. Adam smiled faintly. "Good. That's exactly what we're going to do." As the ship sailed through the dark void, Adam knew the hunters would not stop. But for now, they had a chance. A small, precious chance to survive. The children slept against each other, trusting him more than anyone else in the galaxy. And Adam, a simple cargo pilot, realized that he had become the guardian of something far greater than himself. Two small lives that carried the legacy of one of the galaxy's most feared warriors.